intertwine. With every stitch you'll make your day shine. Life's fabric, sew those dreams between the seams. Just believe that part.
That was the song that I created on audio. It never played on the last 2 episodes, but now that I am pre-recording these episodes, I am able to get it to play and for the audio to pick up. Hello, I am Zachary Davy, and welcome to another episode of Between the Seams, an outlet for me to share my experiences, thoughts, and stories as a father, husband, business owner, and student of life. As I mentioned on the last live episode, I'm going to try my hand at pre-recording episodes. Here is the first attempt at that effort. I am fully aware that I did not record or air the episode last week. Business at the shop has been busy, keeping me busy, and I also took some time putting together thoughts for the content of today's episode. My Core 5. What is the Core 5? The Core 5 is a breakdown of the 5 categories of wellness that I have used to help guide my personal standards to help me achieve my goals and desire to be the best version of myself. And that is the problem with writing scripts, because when you read it, it just comes off wrong. But I wanted to hit the points that I wanted to hit very succinctly and clearly, for my own ability to communicate better. Anyways, the categories of the Core 5 are health, wealth, relationships, spirituality. It's always a tough one to say. Or also known as religion, and extracurriculars, which I break down into some subcategories as we will mention later. This is not something I came up with on my own. This was a part of a system I learned in a coaching program that was intended to help a person gauge where they stood in relation to the life they wanted to achieve. It was kind of like a bridging the gap scenario where you wrote out where you stood now versus where you want to be in the next 5, 10, however long. It was a journaling effort for the most part. I have adapted this system into my own system and broken down the categories and subcategories as I will talk about as I go through my Core 5. Now, before I begin, I kind of went into creating another journaling session out of this that I am going to incorporate into a blog article that will be posted at zacharydavy.com. I do not know when exactly I will be posting it in relationship to airing this podcast episode, but that is going to be coming out. It just kind of broke down further some other thoughts that I've been wanting to get out of my head. So back to my Core 5. First category is health. And then I break this down into subcategories such as fitness, nutrition, sleep, and more recently, dental or oral health. For my fitness, these are basically going to be my standards that help me, become the human that ultimately I want to become. And that is to walk 30 minutes or to max out my step count via my Aura Ring. I love this little tool. I've had it for a couple years now. It will be coming up on a episode about tools that I use in my consistent everyday life. um, Basically, it sets up a metric based on other metrics regarding sleep quality, uh, your activity levels and everything, to come up with a step count metric that I am going to meet every day. And the best way that I can meet that, and also, achieve just my movement goals, is I have a treadmill at home that I can use for a minimum of 30 minutes a day. I will also be working out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, doing resistance training on my upper body and the elliptical for 30 minutes, although the elliptical I may change into more of a high intensity interval training system. I recently listened to a Huberman podcast that said instead of doing consistent cardio, to incorporate some HIIT training. So that is a new thing that I'm going to be working into my routine. I've also begun going to the cycle bar consistently. It is fun. I do enjoy it. It is a lot of work and incorporates that HIIT training with weights and just what they call choreography on the bike, where you stand up on the saddle and do push-ups and crunches and obliques, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, and when I was going to cancel it, I'm glad that I have not canceled it, and look forward to doing that on a day over the weekend. Get some water here. Of course, as I hit the record button on this, it is thunderstorming outside, so we may pick up some thunder in the background. If you happen to hear it, that is what it is. So jumping into the subcategory of nutritional health, my wife and I have begun and enjoy taking AG1 every morning. Of course, it's one of those things that we've heard on other podcasts. Looking at the sources of the people who AG1 supports and who support AG1, I wanted to go ahead and try it myself, and after 3 months now, thoroughly enjoy taking it. I love the taste of it. I love how I feel. It has become my morning coffee now that I am not drinking coffee anymore, because my relationship to coffee was going to Starbucks and getting a very sugary drink, a very caffeinated drink, a very delicious drink, half the normal pumps of sugar in a drink, but still a very sugary drink that I'd rather not drink coffee. Not to say I won't ever drink coffee, I just need to not put sugar in my coffee. Which goes into, I'm also on a low carb, high protein, high fiber diet. Mediterranean, pescatarian, plant-based focused, fish, chicken, vegetables, berries, beans, nuts, olive oil, no added sugars, minimal dairy. Just being super conscious about the things I eat. Looking at cutting back on red meats heavily. The doctor recommended no more than once a month, at least until we get some cholesterol levels and my weight in general under control, which we're going to be looking at again later this year. So I'll have some updates. Sleep, for the most part I get right at 7 hours of sleep per night. The consistency of going to bed and waking up is not always here or there. It's also been very busy at the shop. So keeping up with, my business duties have also pushed my bedtime to later. Uh, so getting more consistent about that, starting my sleep routine, or my go to bed routine at 9 or 9:30, so that way I'm in bed and getting ready to nod off between 10 and 10:30, and then being able to wake up anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30, depending on the workout routine, get ready to go to work routine that's happening on any given day, which I'll talk about. I've gone about my own scheduling and planning measures that have been working out all week. It's just kind of a blend of different things I've done in the past that always end up falling off. I think this one's gonna keep me going for a while. And so as far as my dental care, floss, brush, and then water pick every night. Brush and mouthwash. I'm using a Listerine gum therapy at the moment every morning. My vision is the next thing that I'm going to be taken care of, because it is very evident that it is hard for me to read small print, especially in darker settings, which used to not be an issue. Also, things on the computer tend to go blurry over time, which it's a pain. I want to be able to see things clearly, even if it requires glasses. I'm not sure if I'll ever wear contacts, but glasses I can do. Now, mindset is another big one in the overall health. My mindset has definitely been limited in the past. Call it age and experience, or just being, ready to have learned lessons that I've learned over the years, or been told about over the years, or whatever. That's a big one. Now, people meditate. I've meditated. I still meditate from time to time. But usually what I've found is I just need 20 to 30 minutes of just silence a day. No background noise, no nothing. And I usually find that in the mornings at my shop, after dropping off the girls at school or daycare or wherever, where I have a little bit of time to just have silence, and kind of just be with my thoughts for a minute. Also, reading is something that I always want to do and struggle to get back and forth on. But I also just recently bought a collection of books that I've had on my list for a while, and finally just went ahead and bought. And that's always just a good way to focus on something else for a little bit, whether it's fiction and nonfiction. Lately I've been into a lot of nonfiction, but reading is always a good place for your mind, or my mind anyways. Self-awareness, I also call this depression and anxiety awareness, just being aware of where I am on the roller coaster of being human. Intentional planning, it's kind of just like a map of what's going on the next day, that you map out the week prior / day prior to the next. I just started up a new non-formatted system where I just, kind of plug in what I've got to do at very specific times, and then the things that I need to get done in between those very specific times, like when I have to go pick up the girls, or when I have to open the doors of the shop, and when I need to close the doors of the shop. And then blogging and podcasting. I'm using this as a format to clear out my mind a little bit. Because, when information's just sitting in your head with no outlet, I've found that this is a much better form than social media is anymore. I can't stand Facebook or Instagram. I will not use TikTok, LinkedIn. I still like the idea behind it as far as business goes, but that's very still business geared. It's also still a mess. TikTok, I have started dabbling in just putting out in the moment thoughts that I don't mind sharing with the entire universe. So that way I can also document ideas for talking points on the blog, or articles on, or talking points on the podcast, or articles for my website / blog. Now with wealth. So my business has been profitable. It's been meeting the monthly revenue goals that I've set for myself. I'm still in a continuous process of what my business plan is, because I kind of just picked up this business and ran with it. So I'm really starting to, or not starting to, I've always been, but I'm really honing out the documentation behind my business, and what makes it work. The things that I'm doing, the processes that I'm documenting as I'm doing them. And then also being more mindful of the budget. I have done official budgets and then put them off the wayside, because I only spend the money that I feel like I need to spend on the business. But that's definitely something that I want to be more mindful of as far as running a business. And then, it'd be great to have some help again at some point in the shop with the production. But I want to make the training process for that much easier. Because now that I'm 5 people come and gone, retraining people is just something I want to make much easier on myself. And that way things are a little bit more automated. Not that that's necessarily about wealth specifically, other than just having a better business. Personally, in my personal life, I have no debt other than a mortgage and car leases. There's money in a savings account. By no means is it in the hundreds of thousands or millions or any of that, but for the most part, I'm spending less than I'm earning. And still working on a budget / cash flow awareness in the household, but at the same time, back to savings. We are investing money for the future as well. Stocks, ETFs, IRA, children's futures, between UPMAs and prepaid college 529s. I'm happy with the direction of my wealth. It's been on a progressive line, definitely for the last 10 years. It took a big jump right around the pandemic. So, good things do come from chaos. Yeah. In relationships, my wife, I have an amazing wife, very supportive wife. We have set up bi-weekly meetings to review our household core 5, to cover the health and wealth goals, relationship fulfillment, discuss upcoming events and activities, desired items for the house, and ideas for future vacations that we do bi-weekly. We also hold our one-on-one time, our date nights, our time after the kids are asleep sacred, so that way we stay connected and find our times to communicate with each other. For the kids, I find it very important to have one-on-one time with each of them. Kind of just touching with their well-being, the needs, their wants, and then go over their schedule. I tend to take advantage of the flexibility I have in my business and role as a business owner, even when I'm on my own, to make sure that I can transport them where they need to go when they need to go there. That's also because my wife has a more rigid 9 to 5 schedule, with more work demands, where she can't always just run off when she needs to. If something happens with the kids, I am there for that. And so it's good to just kind of stay on top of where they're at. My family, my parents, siblings, our grandparents, our parents, siblings, and grandparents. What's on the agenda, in the air? Does anybody have any events? Who's going out of town when? That kind of thing. Friends. We found that with our existing friends, we have a close group of friends. We have regular get-togethers. My wife and I have decided to try and have one be involved in one Fun Friday per month, where our friends get together every Friday. We also have started qualifying the friends that we would allow into our lives, because we also want friends that more share our goals and ambitions. Are they good people? Do they root for us as much as we will root for them? These are the qualities that our current friends have. Spirituality, I find my spirituality and my mindset and just my self-awareness. Podcasts, books that I listen to, like Alex Hormozy around business, Mark Hammond on just not giving a fuck, Huberman Lab on health and wellness. That's kind of where I find my spirituality these days. on a religious aspect, I tend to believe in the common area. I also find spirituality hits me when I'm working in the yard or exercising. It's like those meditative moments where you can just get lost in doing whatever task you're getting done at that time. Where you don't need to think about the specifics of what you're doing. Now, going down to the fifth category of hobbies and interests. Now, I love to travel. My wife loves to travel, so we're always, we've got a vacation in mind every year. Cooking, I love to cook as long as I know what everybody wants me to cook. I have no problem cooking it. From time to time, I find inspiration in just the different ingredients that might be laying around, and I'll put something together. Love music, love listening to music, mostly hip-hop music, but a wide variety of music. I used to say I love all music other than polka. There's just something about polka. Reading, again, reading's always been great. I haven't always been as consistent as I would like to be with reading because I tend to watch movies and TV or play video games instead. But I am gravitating back to a reading effort these days. I do still enjoy watching and engaging in a movie or a TV series. I have a few that I'm watching at the moment that I write about and have written about in my weekly check-ins on my website at zacharydavy.com. Yeah, so that's the core 5 of my health standards, standards for my health to meet my goals of where I want to be, where I stand with wealth and the things that I'm working on and have in process, where I am with my wife and my kids and family, friends, my spirituality with reading, and my hobbies and interests. Just a general check-in from time to time. Some might do this once a quarter, every 6 months, once a year, around the beginning of the year for New Year's and resolution setting, and yeah, that will pretty much wrap up this very lengthy and kind of dull episode that I'm probably not gonna post. I'm probably gonna clean up and rethink about what I'm saying. I think that's yeah. That, or I could just keep this raw, and the rambling, and then learn from how ridiculous this episode probably was. That could work too. Well, we'll see what happens when I rewatch this one. In any case, I've got some ideas for what the next episode's going to be. Not exactly sure, so I'm not going to go ahead and say it now. If you happen to, after this god-awful episode, want to see more and hopefully the progress that becomes the next episode, let me know, because that's kind of what this is all about. It's about the progress of just putting together something that I can be proud of. And yeah, I'll check you all out at that time.